Hey guys, kind of a cold and snowy day here in Wisconsin, but I thought I'd take the opportunity when I'm starting to work on my new project car to tell you a little bit about what it takes to put a Pinto or Mustang 2 style rack in an SN95 or new edge car. So if you look here, you can see I've got an aftermarket Mustang 2 rack. I use some offset rack bushings to get it to install because the on-center distance between here and here is different. So you buy 1/4 inch offset rack bushings, whether they're polyurethane or they're solid. Then you can mount it up. This is an aftermarket jegs rack. This video we'll talk a lot about inner tie rods and which inner tie rods you need. And if you buy an aftermarket jegs, O'Reilly's, any auto parts store or Flaming River rack, this will pertain to you. Apparently, according to Maxim Motorsports, if you have a specific Pinto or Mustang 2 rack that's pulled out of an actual Pinto or Mustang 2, you can use your factory inner tie rods and outer tie rods off from your SN95 and it'll work out just fine. But if you don't and you buy an aftermarket and you don't want to spend all the money on the Flaming River stuff, because you could go out and buy the whole Flaming River package and get exactly what they spec and it'll all work out Jim Dandy. You probably don't even need, I don't think you need the offset rack bushings because they do their own casting to be the right length, and you can buy their shaft, and then you're gonna be in it for a fair bit of money. So I tried to do it the cheap way, inexpensive. Some people call me cheap. So, inner tie rods. This is what came with my Mustang 2 rack. If I remember it, I will put a link down below of what Mustang 2 rack I had, all from Jigs. But this is it, and you can see that this is my factory inner tie rod from my SN95. It's a 97. This is off the power steering rack, and you can see the length difference is quite a bit. And where that comes into play is that I wanted to be able to use factory outer tie rods. The other difference is that these have the outer thread like a Fox body. So not only are they too short, you'd have to buy Fox body or prior. I think they're 9/16 18 thread here, whereas this one is M14 by 1.5 thread out here. And then this thread on the inner side is M14 by 1.5. So they've kind of mixed up a little bit. What I did is I went on to Moog. You got this box here. And they are nice enough people, and I probably should have bought Moog inner tie rods because they were nice enough to help me out with this. They have a whole list of all of their inner tie rods, and you can sort them by thread dimensions, inner and outer, and length. After some digging and kind of measuring and figuring it out, this is which one you need. So their part number is EV272. Not sure if you can see that. If you buy that part number, that allows you to use your factory outer tie rods, have the smaller Pinto rack, and still have the correct amount to be able to get your toe in, toe out correct. You can kind of see here what they look like installed. Got them all put in. Obviously has not been to an alignment shop, but I thread them far enough in where it's actually towing in a little bit, just to make sure that I had enough. And you can see I've got plenty of thread adjustment in the back. I probably got about this much thread into it. So you can see that all works out all fine and dandy. I'll show you the other side. And the biggest difference, when you really get down to brass tacks, if you go and price out the Flaming River rack and their inner and outer, and then that limits you. You have to use, try to use like a Fox body, bump steer kit. This way it makes it simple. You can spec out just a regular SN95 or new edge. bump steer kit and it'll all put together. But the Flaming River rack and the whole deal, inner outer tie rods, it's a lot of money. It's quite, yeah, I'm sure, especially by the time you add the steering shaft, which I'm doing all my own steering shaft, you know, it's probably well over 500 bucks. This rack itself was originally like 120 maybe, 140. I got it on sale for $80. Pretty reasonable cost. When I bought it, it was back ordered. They said it would take a couple months to get it. I ended up getting it in a couple weeks, and it really worked. Should work out well for me. Obviously, I don't have any drive time on it. So I'm only in it for 80 bucks on the rack, and then inner tie rods. And those were about 30 bucks a piece. If you bought Moog, I think they're more like 45 a piece. So by the time you add all that up, you're in it for relatively cheap. And then as far as a steering steering shaft, I'm gonna make my own. So you look over here, I've got this, I think it's a 3/4 double D, and then I've got some other, the correct U joint for that. See, it's 3/4 double D, and then it's a 9/16 26 spline, and that is for a Pinto or Mustang 2 rack. And then I've got another one that'll go to my, it's just 3/4 double D to like 3/4 round for the end of my Motion Raceworks column. Then you cut your 3/4 double D shaft to length, and then you're in good shape. So hopefully this was helpful. I know I spent a lot of time searching and trying to find the right inner tie rod to try to make it all kind of come together and work seamlessly. If you liked it, like the video. If you got any questions, shoot a comment and make sure you subscribe. This is just the first of many. I haven't done any videos on this car. I have some videos that you might want to check out of building my brother's Fox body, and there'll probably be a lot. I'm way behind on videos on that, and it's kind of been because we've had a lot of struggles, but now we're just starting to get it off the ground. It's really turned into something way more impressive than what it was originally. So make sure you subscribe for more content, and we'll see you later.